Hey guys, what's up? Moneyman300 back for another Forza video here, and this is 2 in a row. Hey, 2 days in a row after not uploading for a while. But anyway, I want to talk about Forza Apex. Some of you might have seen the news. I believe it was yesterday. It might have been the day before, but there is a new Forza game out there. It's called Forza Apex, and it is for Windows 10. And I want to talk a little bit about what that is and what is Forza Apex. You can get it right now. It's in beta, and you can go to the Windows App Store, the Windows Store, on your Windows 10 computer or laptop, and you can install it. And what it is, it's basically a slimmed down version of Forza 6. And you can see on the screen here, I am going through kind of showing some of the tracks there. So there were, about 6 tracks that are available in the beta with a few variations of each one of those tracks. And you can take a look at the car list. Pretty hefty little car list here. As you can see, I go through. Some of them are unlocked, others aren't, but I scroll kind of all the way through here slowly so you can get a view of each of the cars that's in the game. There's kind of a cross section of some supercars and some muscle cars and different various cars that you see in other Forza games. So that one right there you can get free by going into Forza Hub. They'll give you that car there. But anyway, you can look through those as I'm talking. The game does have some fairly hefty requirements, and they are the requirements on this are no joke. I have a pretty good PC so that I can do the video rendering and things like that, and I am right at the recommended specs for this, and possibly just slightly under. I do beat the minimum specs, so the minimum is a Core i3 4170 processor, 8 gig of memory, with at least 2 gig of video memory. And if you know your card models, that would be in the AMD Radeon R7 250X is the lowest, or a NVIDIA GeForce GT 740. So those are pretty decent cards, and that's the minimum specs. And as you can see on there, still going through on the screen as I talk through some of this, there's the assists that you can go through. Pretty much all the same assists and things like that, so you can watch that. I'm just configuring my assists. It's really the first time I got in. It has you. It's just like the intro to Forza 6. It has you play the one race in the Ford GT on Rio, and then you can go in and change all your stuff. So that's what I'm doing here. Really getting in to do my first race, and I'll show that first race here. The recommended specs: Intel Core i7 3820. That's a pretty good processor. I actually have a i5 49 something. At 3.6 gigahertz minus 3.5 with 12 gig of RAM. I have 16 and 4 gig of VRAM. I believe my card has 3. It might have 4, and that's an AMD Radeon R9 290X. I have an R9 280X. Just so you guys have a point of reference on what I recorded this in, and then or a NVIDIA GeForce 970. So that's that, and then ideal specs. So those are the recommended specs if you want to run the game at 1080p, and that's what I am running it at, and that's what I'm recording it at here. So I'm also up there and just going through the menus, showing you kind of the different things that are included in the game, some of the options that you can see there. A lot of the same options that they're there in Forza. If you want to play this game at 4K, all right, the highest resolution, you're going to need the big boy, a Core i7 6700K running at 4 gigahertz, 16 gig of RAM, 6+ gig of VRAM, which means you're going to have to be in the top of the line GeForce 980 Ti or a AMD Radeon Fury X. Those are top of the line cards. Probably running even duals if you really want to do it. So I'm probably talking over the top of them. I'll let you guys listen to this real quick.
Sense of freedom, independence, style, and performance. As sales of pony cars skyrocketed, U.S. automakers began to offer race-ready models purpose-built to defeat each other's offerings on the racing circuit. With powerful V8 engines under the hood and race-tuned suspensions, these fierce competitors battled it out for the latter half of the decade on circuits across America.
All right, so now I'm going to get in there. I'm going to pick my car. I'm going to take that Mustang Boss 302 there. Pretty cool car, cool classic muscle car. Pick my color. There is no livery editor. There is tuning, but there is no building, at least not in the beta version of the game. I don't know if there's going to be building, or they're just going to allow tuning. The problem with just allowing tuning is, like, a car like this doesn't have any of the race parts that you need for adjustable, to have all the adjustable things in there. Other cars might, up in the higher range, so that might be the way that they go about this. There is no multiplayer. This is single player only. There are microtransactions. It works on a medal system for unlocking cars. So you start with a few cars unlocked, and then you earn medals through races. And then with those medals, it unlocks other cars. And you'll see that at the end of the race. You know, when you get if you watch all the way through the end of the race, you'll see medals that are earned, and then other cars that I unlock at the end of that race. So it works that way. You can also buy those medals, and then unlock cars that way. So there is a micro transaction part to that. That is not live in the beta. I'm sure that it will be in the full game. I don't know when the full release. It says spring of 2016, which is now. There's not actually a whole lot. Only about a month of spring left, I suppose. A month and a half of spring. So I would assume that the full version of the game's coming out pretty soon. So what you see here is pretty close to the full version, meaning that it's not going to be multiplayer or anything like that. It's kind of a slimmed down run through single player, but it is free, and I believe it's going to be free when it comes out. Free so long as you have a PC that can run it. But as you can see here and here, that the sounds are good, the graphics are pretty good. Some slight stuttering. Like I said, I'm running just with the video card just slightly under the recommended specs to run 1080. So, and it is still in beta, so there are still some issues. I had a crash the first time I went through this, where it crashed loading the track. You'll see here in a little bit that it hangs a couple of times during this. And those stutters, I don't know. I can't remember when I recorded it if I had those stutters while I was playing the game, or if that's just my recording. I used OBS to record this, so I was recording and playing on this computer at the same time. So that also probably contributed to this a little bit. I do not have an internal capture card, so it was having to do the software. Here you can see where it just hangs. And it just, at least everything stops, and then it kind of continues back to where it started. You can see the graphics were pretty good, and here in a little bit you'll see that I'll go to hood view and see the reflection and some things like that. So pretty impressive graphics, and it should be given the specs that the game requires, and the size. It's about 18 gig when you download it, so it's a pretty decent sized game as well. I'm using the Xbox One controller. I'm actually using the Xbox One Elite. Plugged in with the USB cable, so you can use. There's a braided cable that comes with the Elite, or you can use any cable that comes. If you don't have the Elite controller that comes with the cable, use any Xbox One controller and a micro USB cable that you can plug in. You have Windows 10, it's going to automatically recognize it. I didn't have to do anything to configure it. Didn't have to do. I think if you were watching when I went through the controller options, I did the standard switch my handbrake and clutch, and I'm using manual with the clutch, and all of the controls and everything actually feel pretty much the same as the Xbox. I didn't notice anything else. It felt a little, there were no options to adjust my dead zone, so it probably felt like default when you don't adjust your dead zones, and then it's just slightly sluggish on the steering. And it might be a little more forgiving in the physics department. I don't remember if I ever drove this car in particular, just straight stock, to know how grippy it is, but this felt pretty grippy when I was driving it. I mean, I really couldn't spin it out if I tried, and I don't know if that's the case. I'd have to go back and actually drive that car in Forza on this track and see if it felt the same, which would be an interesting test, and I might go do that, and I'll just put an annotation up here in the video if I find it to be better or worse. But I feel like the physics are probably slightly easier, but I'd have to drive, and I'll probably play around, drive maybe a couple of the higher level cars. But overall, I switch into cockpit view here. All the same views are there. I don't know that you could really tell the difference if you were playing this on the Xbox or on Windows 10, minus the stuttering that I was getting and things like that. And again, the stuttering could be from recording and doing that, because I don't remember all this, little stutters happening, just the big hangs. And you'll see one more at the end in a critical spot. This ends up being a pretty good race, by the way. It comes right down to the finish. But you're right towards the end, we get another hang, and it's like, oh, it was in a bad spot, but it's interesting to watch. The other thing I did, and because it was grippy, you'll see me steer in early quite a bit here, expecting it to So there you can see, I was expecting the car to really slide out a little bit, and it wouldn't. It just would hook up. But anyway, here's that hood view. You can see the reflections there and things. Pretty impressive on the graphics front with that too. So overall, I don't know if you have Forza 6. There's not, unless you're dying to play this on the PC. And by the way, I didn't test this with a wheel. I don't know if it's supported with the wheel. I just used the controller. You can use there was keyboard mouse settings in there as well, but I did not try to plug in my wheel and play that. But if you're dying to play it on Windows 10, then maybe this will be fun for you if you like getting all the achievements. And I mean, it is free, and if you got a PC that support it, you might as well grab it, and you can play around with it. But it's not going to offer you a whole bunch of things that aren't in Forza 6 already. It's the tracks that are on here already in here. The cars that are in here are already in Forza 6. So it's not like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's not already there and it's a brand new game. It's basically just a slimmed down version, single player version of Forza 6 with a reduced set of the single player, reduced cars, and reduced tracks. But for free, this isn't bad. And I don't know how much of this is going to come and how much you'll have to do microtransactions to get, or how much you'll be able to earn. It's my understanding that you can earn all the content that's in the game through just playing, but you'll have to see when it comes out. So this is probably going to be for somebody who doesn't have Forza 6. Maybe you don't have an Xbox and you want to check out Forza for a little bit, because it's going to give you a good feel for what Forza's like. It's a great entry point and probably a really good marketing tool for Turn 10. To get Forza in the hands of people that haven't played it before. If they don't have it, but maybe they've been playing PC games and they have an Xbox and they got a PC that can handle this, give them an opportunity to play. Here you're going to see what happens here at the end. Oh, coming in, I'm getting him. This is the last lap. Oh, it locks up right here. It didn't lock up. It just has that hang again. So I'm thinking, oh man, is it going to continue? Is it just going to lock up right here? And oh, it doesn't. I just hang on, and we go by. He hits the wall. And I go by him. But anyway, we win our first race. So I'm also going to appeal to maybe people that still have Forza 4 and Forza 5 and haven't played Forza 6 and want to get a little taste of it. So overall, it's a solid game for a free game. But it is a slimmed down version. There are some bugs in it and some crashes, but this is beta. You can see the medals that I earned there. And those medals will then turn into unlocking cars. You get that point total, though, that 806,000 RP. That goes onto leaderboards that they track. Another thing is it interacts with your Xbox Live account. So I don't know if you noticed in there that it does use the other people's gamer tags and their cars, and taps into that part of the game, the AI part of the game as well. So the drive-avatars. So I thought that was interesting. So you see, I unlocked a couple of cars there. Pops me up on the leaderboard for that particular race. I don't know a whole lot about how you earn those credits. There's different ways to do it, I'm sure. But anyway, solid effort for that. Go out there and give it a look. I just want to get this out there and let everybody know what this is all about and let people know that it's available. I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.